Last night, in my sleep, I lay a slumber, and I drift off into dreams. And then, before I know it, before the dawn arises, there comes a tapping with a raven, with a message to share. And then he had something to say, and I sprung awake and heard it with thine very own ears. Welcome back, everyone. So recently, I had another commentary, aside from this, asking me if I thought social justice was still alive and well. Not too long ago, though, I received a comment on this video. Here's the comment.
You truly can't be that ignorant. She was obviously being sarcastic about getting her hair cut. It is very expensive to get your hair cut as a woman, and prices for men in the same salons are quite different. It doesn't matter if you cut your own hair or if you have taken a vacation. That wasn't her point. What gives you the right to pull apart each part of her speech and talk about the biological differences between male and female? The overall message of this is that you don't know what someone's life is like until you walk in their shoes. You are literally mansplaining to her about how you think she is wrong about her journey. You're fucking gross. I mean, oh my god. Listening to your smug shit was so unnerving. Yeah, everyone has a different personality. You have chosen to completely miss the point of her speech, and in doing so, proved her opinions about what males do not realize, and yes, even homosexual ones, 100% correct. You need not respond. I won't be back.
So, since that person said that they will never be back to my channel, I feel it completely unnecessary to address this particular comment. Like I'm talking to them, because are they going to see this video? Probably not. They're probably not going to watch it. So, okay. First of all, let me make it very clear what this particular video, how the privileged upper class is so oppressed, was about. I'll make it abundantly clear. This woman, okay, trans woman, and first of all, let me say it's completely irrelevant to me that she's trans. That's not an issue that I look for in making arguments. The issue here is that it seems to be that many portions of the left have forgotten about classism. And the issue to me in this video that I made a while, like not that long ago really, was that this trans woman, and granted, I don't doubt that the stories that she tells, some of it may have to do with her being trans. Like, for instance, the Christian organizations that she was a CEO when she was male, that she oversaw, terminating her employment. Well, I wouldn't expect any less of a Christian organization to be a bunch of bigots. I know there are Christian organizations out there that do support trans people and homosexuals, but it's not surprising when they don't. So I'm not disputing that she's undergone issues from being trans. There are bigoted people out there against trans people and homosexuals. Absolutely. Is it systemic? No. These are individuals. Now, I would say the church itself, the Christian organization, is a systemic system within our governing body that does happen to be predominantly bigoted. Yeah, that's true. But the problem here is that she's coming from a position of living a life of luxury. We're talking about living in what I would consider a really big house. And she's going on TED Talks. She's going on plane trips from around the world, around all over the place. She has a nice car. She owns a business. She probably earns a, six-figure salary. And I looked into how much speakers get paid to do these little talks that she does, and it's quite a large amount of money. Now, the issue is that she is complaining that she is oppressed. I have no doubt that she's had discrepancies with people because she is trans. I have no doubt about that. And certainly there are misogynists, real live misogynists in the world, that I have no doubt. But she makes a proclamation to speak from authority to say that she can speak for an entire group of people, that she can speak for the entirety of the females, that she can speak for the entirety of the trans community, that she can speak for the entirety of white males. She used to be one. And she can't. This is a person who's living a life of luxury, complaining about petty problems like an altercation on the plane. I brought that up in there. Everyone has altercations. The male that she has an altercation with, I've had altercations with males that have predominantly perceived themselves as being right over me because they have a chip on their shoulder. That person that thinks that they are constantly right no matter what, that's something that is an issue with it in themselves psychologically. That is a person with a chip on their shoulder. That is a person who thinks they're right for a particular, they just think they're right. And they get into arguments with males and females alike. But it's really hard for me to digest the concept that this woman is oppressed. And then she has the audacity to speak on behalf of all white men, all trans people, and all females, when in fact, I would like to see her go to impoverished areas, and hell, we can even gather up homeless people that are white males. I would like her to tell them to look them dead in the eye and say that she does not have equity and that they do because they are a white male. I would like to see that. Can she do that honestly? And I think the answer is no. I live a pretty rustic lifestyle. I make roughly between $24,000 to $25,000 a year. I'm not comfortable saying that, but it is what it is. And that's before taxes. I live roughly in a lower class, like kind of the upper lower class. The area that I live in to be in kind of middle class is $35,000 a year up to $70,000 a year. And somewhere over $70,000 a year is where you make it to the upper middle class. And then, you know, $300,000 something dollars a year, probably about upper class. And so this woman says that what a hard knock life she has, and how oppressed she is, that she doesn't have equity, and that she wants people to walk a mile in her shoes. Hell, you know what? I'll walk 13 million miles in her shoes. I will take the trans identification, the trans female identification. I will take her businesses. I will take her lifestyle. I will walk 13 million miles in her shoes. We can trade lives. And she can walk in my shoes. She can have everything that I have, all my qualifications, my jobs, my life experience. She can have it, and we will swap positions. I have no problem with that. Good luck to her. Because, let me tell you something. The computer chair that I sit in at my computer, I found that in the trash. I have an end table. I found that in the trash. This table right here was a hand-me-down from somebody that was going to, guess what, throw it in the trash. I have had my fair share of dumpster diving to furnish my place. For somebody of that prestige to proclaim that they don't have equity and that they're oppressed spits in the face of classism. I've had altercations with females telling me that I'm wrong. I've had altercations with males telling me that I'm wrong. Never once have I thought it's because I'm a homosexual. Every single time I figured that that was their frame of mind, that they are so egotistical that they could not possibly concede to the idea of being incorrect or wrong. It had nothing to do with me. Okay? That's one of the examples she gives. Then there's the haircuts. Well, we did some research. Me and my boyfriend, we did some research into hair places. Hair salons do charge different prices for males and females, but if you look at barber shops, depending on what you want to do, if you want to have a haircut like mine and you're a female and you already have a haircut like mine and you want it touched up, it's going to be the same cost. That's what we found. So I don't know what you're talking about. Haircuts for women are going to be different if you want shampoo, conditioner, sit in that dryer thing. I don't know what that thing does. I haven't been to a place that cuts my hair since I was 14 years old. I have been cutting my hair for that long. So I don't even know what the fuck that thing is that they sit with. They have that helmet thing that goes over your head. But they get perms, they get hair dyes, and these are professional hair dyes. They're not Walmart brand hair dyes, okay? Anytime I've dyed my own hair, it's been Walmart brand hair dye. So if we're talking about that, of course that's going to cost more. I know males that do that, and they pay a lot of money for that hairdo. And this person wants to proclaim that that's not the point. Well, you're right. That isn't the point. The point is that this trans woman is saying that she doesn't have equity, that she doesn't have equality because she's trans and she's a she. And that's just bullshit. It's bullshit. Don't complain that there's not enough ice in your drink to a bunch of people that don't have water. That's the point. You cannot sit in a castle and go, oh, woe is me. I am so mistreated and unprivileged and I'm just treated so horribly. Servant, bring me my Tom Collins. To a bunch of villagers slopping pig shit at the bottom of her castle. You are not oppressed. oppressed at that point. Yes, some of the villagers may question your authority in that castle as a person of authority because you're female, but you're still in a position of authority and you could sentence them to death if you wanted to. That's a really weird analogy. I'm making an analogy from back to like medieval days, okay? That aside. No, I think the one that was misinformed, that misunderstood the point, was this Rachael that commented. I think she misinterpreted my message. And this is a problem too. Mansplaining. What the fuck is mansplaining? What the fuck is toxic masculinity? These are made up words. If the moment you say toxic masculinity, that in and of itself, I would say if toxic masculinity is a real thing, then you have to capitulate to the idea that there is such a thing as toxic femininity. Toxic masculinity is not a real word, okay? There are good people and there are bad people. I would like to see a definitive definition that is held unilaterally across the board that explains what that is. Unfortunately, when I look across media and social media, I see the word toxic masculinity being used by different people in different ways. So there isn't a definitive definition behind what that even is. So then we're getting into the mansplaining. What is mansplaining? Well, as I understand it, mansplaining is one of two things. You're a male and you're explaining something to a female and she's upset because you're right and she's wrong and she doesn't want to be. Or two, you're a male and you're explaining something to a female that a female already understands, but you're still explaining it to her because you don't think she understands simply for the fact that she has a vagina between her legs instead of a penis and a pair of testicles. And certainly there are men that do that out there, and that is called misogyny. Plain and simple. That's a misogynist. That is a man that believes that a woman doesn't know anything. That is misogyny. Okay? I do not partake in this belief. I do not believe that just because of somebody's genitals that they know more or less than anyone else. That's ridiculous. That's fucking stupid. One of my favorite neurologists is a female. Helen Fisher. I love her. I listen to what she has to say, and I think that she knows more than me. I think she's more intelligent than me. So that has nothing to do with it. So I want to make it very clear right now, is that from that type of leftist perspective, if you use words like mansplaining, toxic masculinity, manturuption, I'm going to dismiss you as not having an argument to come back at me with. Instead of saying you were, and honestly, I really doubt that Paula, the woman I did the video about, the trans woman, I doubt she's ever going to see that video. I doubt that I will ever have a civil dialogue with her. And believe me, it would be civil. If I was to be able to have a dialogue with her, I would discuss with her my point of view and my philosophies and see what she thinks of them and reflect and possibly try to come to an understanding. That's what I would do. But that's probably not going to happen, is it? And that's fine. So I'm not mansplaining to anyone. I'm just putting my philosophy, my point of view. I'm debating her proclamations. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that she's up on top. You go, girl. You're a trans woman. You're on top of shit. You get to travel all over the world, get your hair did, go on vacation, live in a nice house, drive a nice car. You have lots of fucking people that adore and admire you. I have no problems with these things. I have a problem when you use that authority and power and that type of media attention to spread false narratives. And when you use a word like mansplaining, it's because you're trying to sway the argument, and you're using jibe and jargon, which is part of in philosophy, deductively on sound, inductive argumentation. You are using a word that has negative connotations with an ambiguous definition that only a select few people know what the actual terminology means, if it even does have a definitive definition in the first place, which it doesn't. So I want to be very clear. If you use terminologies like that, then I will dismiss you as not having an argument and that I've basically won the debate, and it pisses you off. Instead of saying you were literally mansplaining, instead of Rachel saying that, she could have said, I disagree with you, and here's the reasons why. Now, I've become quite defensive in commentaries because I've received a lot of commentaries from people that subscribe themselves to the alt-right. And they're usually pretty rude. And I think it's fair that if you're going to be rude to me, that I can be rude in return. I am not going to block. I don't believe in blocking or censoring anyone because I don't agree with them. I don't believe in it. As much as it pisses me off, I feel like, you know what? If you're going to be rude to me, that's fine. I'm going to be rude back. There was actually a troll that learned that in a very harsh way. They were trolling multiple different videos on my channel. And I sent them a link to a snuff film. And I said, are you still going to troll me? And they didn't respond. And I was like, I thought so. So that ended that, you know, but I feel like if you're going to be rude, I think it's fair that I can be rude in return. Like that stupid Precious Fluid dude that was like, faggot, 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 faggoty, faggot, faggot. And then made the proclamation that I'm making an argument from facts. You just spewed out a bunch of slanderous bullshit. You didn't make an argument at all. So, whatever. Mansplaining is the same fucking thing. That's not an argument. I can't go, oh, well, I mansplained. I gotta throw that out the window. No. Tell me why you disagree with it. And we can talk about it in a civil manner. Like I said, I've become very defensive because of all the nasty comments I've received. So if I do seem a little bit offensive at first, that would be the reason why. I am making the assumption, which is wrong to assume, but I'm making the assumption based on experience from alt-right commentators that you're coming at me with, with aggression. So I kind of respond that way, like instantaneously almost anymore. I try not to, but bear with me. Like if it's civil, I'll find it, I'll see it, and I'll be civil. And you can see this if you go to my Facebook page. You can see this. I will have civil discussions with people that I disagree with. I do it all the time. I really and truly do. But like I said, if you come to me talking about mansplaining, manturuption, toxic masculinity, I'm going to dismiss you. That you have no argument, and that you have been defeated, and that you're throwing a temper tantrum because you can't think of anything to refute my arguments. Sorry. Mansplaining is not a thing. I have met women that will talk over guys. I have met women that will presume that a guy doesn't know anything. This is not a gender-specific thing. This is a personality thing. Usually this is coming from a personality with a really inflated ego. Just one symptom of it. So I would say to Rachel, though, that if she were, I actually said in my counter comment, even though she said don't bother commenting, I won't be back. I'm assuming it's a female. I honestly don't know. That's a female name. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe she's not a female. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a fucking name. But I thanked her for bringing her opinion to the table, even. But she's the one that missed the point behind the video. There's still classism. And it's been brought to my attention, it's not just in the United States. And this being against classism was something that the left used to understand. And it doesn't seem that they really focus on that too much anymore. Is that people in high positions of authority and power, people who make a lot of money, can get away with a lot of things, which is why Bill Cosby can rape a bunch of women, drug and rape a bunch of women, and only get put on house arrest. If somebody in my income bracket did what Bill Cosby did, they would not be placed on house arrest. Let's be very clear about that. They'd be behind bars for a very long fucking time. Justice is supposed to be blind. And it doesn't matter how much fucking money you make. If you have drugged and raped that many women, it shouldn't matter if you're rich or poor. The sentence should be the same. Period. And that's my problem when I see somebody who lives in a castle, lives in a giant house, drives a car, has all these luxuries of life. Yes, she probably has struggles that she has to deal with as a trans woman because there's still people out there that are like, you gross, trans people, disgusting, they're bigots. I know. I still receive homophobic remarks from people. Not very common anymore. Well, I guess it would be good to point out that in the city that I live in, I was alive when Reverend Phelps was still alive. I was young. I was a young adult. I'm not far from where he used to live. Well, actually, I'm not even far from where he's buried. About an hour and a half, 2 hour drive away, actually. And he's been to the city that I've been in, and I've seen him up close and personal. These things I don't give a shit about. I stopped caring about people's negative, derogatory, bigoted opinions towards homosexuals a long time ago. I find a lot of their argumentations to be very juvenile. They can't really explain why homosexuality is immoral. It's nonsense. And yeah, they spew out the word faggot this, faggot that, and gays burn in hell, HIV for fags, blah, 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 blah. And I just don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. I'm not going to go out and do things with those people. Nor do I think that they would want me to. So there's a mutual agreement there. We don't want to interact with each other. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to create legislation or campaign to create legislation to hold them accountable to their bigoted ideas. They're entitled to have their bigoted eye view. In the end, they're the ones that look stupid. I think the facts speak for themselves. Science has been on the side of LGBT people. Gender dysphoria is a mental illness, and transitioning is the only known treatment for it. gay people, sexuality in general, whether you're homosexual, bisexual, or heterosexual, is involuntary. We do not have cognitive control over who we find attractive. Even if you look at heterosexuals, the women that they find attractive and the women that they don't find attractive, that is not something you have cognitive control over. There's software running in the background of your brain that figures that out for you. You have no control over it whatsoever. And science is on that side because we can hook a person up to an MRI and look at brain activity and expose them to sexual stimulus and look at what it does. So we know these things. We know that homosexuality is not a choice. We know that bisexuality is not a choice. We know that heterosexuality is not a choice. We know that. And even when it comes to the individuals that we're attracted to, we know that's even not a choice. And Helen Fisher even talks about that a little bit with her neurological studies. So I'm not doubting that she's ran into bigots that don't like trans people, but overall, is she oppressed? No. No, walk a mile in my fucking shoes. Walk a mile in my fucking shoes, and I bet you within like a day she'd be complaining. In a day she'd be complaining. I had to heal from a fucked up shoulder, a fucked up pinched nerve in my wrist, which is frightening to me to think that one day that nerve could die. That's a frightening thought. And because, as I made reference in another video, that I'm so desperate to make ends meet, I'm damaging my body. So if she's complaining about an altercation on the plane, how do you think it feels for somebody to see that things could be done so differently and more effective and more cost-effective, more energy efficient? And to say that to somebody who's superior to you, a boss or something, and for them to tell you to shut the fuck up because that's negative. When you're not trying to be negative, you're trying to be helpful. How do you think that feels? And I don't think that that comes from bigotry. I don't think that's bigotry. I think that comes from what they expect is me to be able to show a certificate to substantiate my claims. And ultimately, society doesn't want, like corporations, the government, they don't want free-thinking, independent thinking individuals. They don't want that. They don't want intellectual people. They want people that when you tell them what to do, they do it regardless if it makes sense or not. And actually, I have a story about that. I had a boss tell me once, I know what your problem is. And I said, oh really, what's that? And she said to me, you have a problem with ambiguity. And I laughed. I've worked with this woman for a long time, and I knew that she's not college educated. I know that she doesn't even know what that word means. And I said, that doesn't really sound like a problem to me. I was like, I told her, I said, somebody who's college educated told you to say that to me. I said, I don't think you even know what the word ambiguity means. And she said, oh, yes, I do. And I was like, okay, what does it mean? And she goes, oh, well, I know what it means. Why? What do you think it means? And I said, ambiguity is basically, it means that it's unclear. It's vague. And I said, having a problem with something that is unclear or vague means that, let's say you told me to bounce up and down on one foot with one hand on my nose, and that's supposed to increase sales. And I ask you why. That's me having a problem with ambiguity. And this is in direct reference to turning jugs of milk around. which I perceived as just busy work because they don't want to rationalize paying me to stand around waiting to take care of somebody. And so I found out that the person who told her that was indeed an area supervisor who was college educated. And he didn't mean that as a negative, derogatory statement to me, saying he has a problem with ambiguity. I talked to him about it. He flat out told me, oh yeah, I told her that I recognize that you had a problem with ambiguity. And I said, well, all I wanted to know is why I was told to switch the milk jugs around. And he said, well, it's for brand advertising. I said, say no more. I went through college. I've taken psychological courses. And one of the things that I was going for was commercial art. And that's absolutely a manipulative strategy of marketing that they use. The idea is you put the name brand out there and it entices the person to want to buy it. That made sense. And that's all I was looking for, was an explanation. But see, she wants to give me a command and she wants me to just do it. Majority of the time, 98% of the time, I already understood the command and I just did it because I already knew what the point and purpose behind it was. But if she gave me a command where I did not know what the point and purpose behind it was, I would say, why? This is not what corporations want you to do. When a boss tells you to do something, they want you to just do it. They don't want you to analyze and say, well, that won't work for this reason, that reason, this, that, and the other. They don't want you to break it down and break it apart. That hurts their precious ego. Especially company-wide, they want you to just do things. They don't want you to question authority. And unfortunately, I was raised to do that. I was taught at a very young age to think for myself and question. In fact, the moment somebody tells me not to question something, that is immediately the first thing I do. The first thought that pops in my head is, why am I not supposed to question your authority? Why? I did that when I read a book about the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon. It was a book about the Necronomicon, not actually the Necronomicon. And it said in there, don't question. And I was like, okay, this has got to be fake, because if you don't want me to question, then that means that you have no merit to prove that what you're saying is real. It's fake. I questioned it. And I've done that with every religion I've embarked upon or I've encountered. Question. I have gotten way derailed off topic. Is that the original meaning of that video that I made about Paula, the trans woman that said she didn't have equity and she was oppressed. She is privileged. I have no doubt that she's ran into bigots. But you cannot proclaim that you do not have equity when you are sitting on a mountain of cash talking to 58% of Americans that make $35,000 a year or less. So at that point, I have to say, shut the fuck up. You make more than the majority. And you're more than welcome to disagree with me, but please have a point. Please explain to me why that's incorrect. Anyway. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Now, on the bell button, it's become complicated, and YouTube is doing some really weird things. Maybe you have heard about this already, maybe you haven't. I have only said it, I think, in one other video, at the closing of the video. But it's YouTube is doing some funky things. They are hiding uploads from time to time. I've noticed this with somebody that I'm subscribed to. They uploaded a video. It showed that they uploaded a video, and I clicked on it. Then that notification went away. I went to their channel, couldn't find it, looked in my history, saw that I watched a little bit of it, clicked on it again, and left them a message saying, hey, your video is not showing up in your video library of videos that you've uploaded. So you may not, some of the people that you're subscribed to, maybe you've been on, I noticed that with another person I'm subscribed to. I was unsubscribed from them, and I had clicked the bell button, and that bell button had been unclicked. So the people that you're subscribed to, you might want to pop in every once in a while and see if there's videos that they've uploaded that YouTube has just decided not to inform you of. And you might want to pop in once in a while to make sure you're still subscribed and that the bell button is still clicked. Otherwise, you won't get any notifications whatsoever. So YouTube is doing some sketchy things. And they're still doing the unsubscribing thing. I've noticed that. So just keep that in mind with anyone that you're subscribed to, be it me or any other YouTuber. Whether you agree with me or not, it's irrelevant. If you have a list of YouTubers that you greatly admire, subscribe to, and like, I would recommend that you do that, because YouTube is doing this stuff. So, with that, I'm out.